You've got items here you can take. Don't.
Now that's silly. That is absolutely silly.
Just ring the police. Just ring the police. Just ring the police.
And this is yet another example of just how aggressive and lawless bailiffs are willing to behave in the pursuit of debt.
Don't.
Now that's silly. That is absolutely silly.
Just ring the police.
But not only do they think they're above the law, they think they're beyond scrutiny as well. Take this last video I put up that showed a bailiff forcing entry into the wrong address simply to search the occupant's home for identification. That bailiff actually had the nerve to issue a takedown notice via YouTube on the grounds that by publishing the video I'd violated his rights to privacy. I refused to act upon the notice, and to YouTube's credit they didn't pull the video. But what really surprised me was the way that the Consumer Action Group forum, one of the most active websites in helping people with bailiff issues, posted a link to the video and took to slating my commentary while excusing the bailiff. Rather than recognise the obvious point that no enforcement agent has the power to enter property just to search it for ID, they took to smearing me as a freeman of the land, a group of pseudo-legal maniacs that I utterly despise, while suggesting that the bailiff was acting within his powers and that 99% of them are extremely professional and polite. What more can you expect from a website which has been thoroughly infiltrated by debt companies posing as independent advisors in a bid to enforce their own interests? The fact remains that regardless of the type of debt the bailiff is pursuing, even if it's a criminal fine known to the magistrates' court, none of them have the power to use force against debtors except in the interest of self-defence. Most of them know this and they're quick to enlist the help of the biggest firm of debt recovery agents in the country, the police, who will act as muscle for hire and arrest for breach of the peace anyone who stands in the way of a bailiff. Okay, it's true that I haven't fully represented the extent of a bailiff's powers to recover debt, but then again, neither have the bailiffs, which is why so many of their encounters lead to confrontation. It's also true that the law has clouded the issue in such a way as to allow the debt recovery industry to abuse their position wherever possible. The biggest problem as I see it is the bailiff's constant refusal to show a warrant and the misunderstanding as to whether or not this is lawful. The worst disseminators of misinformation are the freemen of the land, who've propagated the belief that a bailiff only has the power to enter your property if he shows you a writ signed by a judge in wet ink. This is total romanticised nonsense, and it reinforces the cliche that warrants are drafted like spells with quill and parchment. There's nothing in statute, common law or case law that supports this wet ink nonsense. Warrants can be authorised at the push of a button by a number of court staff, and it is perfectly legitimate for a bailiff to show you a copy of the warrant on nothing more than a handheld electronic device. But where the law goes wrong is by giving bailiffs the impression that it's okay to turn up at a property intentionally without a copy of the warrant and refuse all reasonable requests to show it.
I'm now going to execute this warrant. If you'd like to step out and way, sir, if you obstruct me, the police will remove you, okay? I'll give you 5 seconds to move, sir, and then I'm going to...
You're causing massive stress on my heavily pregnant wife.
5, 4, 3... Mr. Weeks. Okay, sir, I've waited long enough. Would you like to move out of the way, guys?
Okay, Mr. Weeks, he has to do his job.
No, you guys think he does. He does. No, he doesn't. That is a warrant, okay? That has to be signed by the courts. Yes, it does. It does have to be signed by the courts.
It's been issued.
I'm not giving him permission to enter this house. This house isn't even mine.
Excuse me, sir. You obstruct me, you're going to be arrested. Do you understand? Thank you. Excuse me, sir.
In the rare cases a bailiff can force entry, such as collecting fines for magistrates' court, the criminal procedure rules state that the bailiff must only show the warrant if he has it. This puts occupants at an immediate disadvantage because if the bailiff doesn't have a copy of the warrant, and most of them don't, the debtor has no immediate way of finding out if such a warrant exists. This means having to take the bailiff's word for it and arranging to see a copy of the warrant once he's left. Something that both the enforcement company and the courts obstruct every step of the way. Simply put, bailiffs are not to be trusted, and the courts make a grave error by not compelling bailiffs to show a warrant in the same way that they must show ID. But the most significant point I want to make is that although the courts are immune from lawsuits, bailiffs are not. And just because a bailiff is acting upon a warrant issued by the court, it does not give him powers to ransack your home or business and assault you. Any bailiff that exceeds his authority or goes beyond the scope of the warrant is not acting within the execution of his duties, and this leaves them wide open to be sued for trespass, assault and battery, among other things. And not only can you sue the bailiffs, you can sue the creditor as well. Now, I don't pretend to be an expert on bailiffs, but I do know how to read the law, and for anyone who's conflicted by misinformation on the internet about the law that surrounds bailiffs and warrants, I've provided a selection of links in the description that may help you.